All right, Adam, I think our listeners would be interested to know what's the current state of the trucking industry?
That's a great question. Probably at the most unique time we've maybe ever been in our industry. When you think about how we got to this point, you can't turn on the news without talking about, backlog at supply chain. I think it's in every earnings release you see from companies about, blaming inflation on the, supply chain issues or lack of sales. When the pandemic hit in early 2020, our industry was in a tough spot already, and we'd seen capacity coming out because rates were relatively depressed because we probably oversupplied the industry in 2018, and so there was a lot of pressure on capacity because rates weren't nearly as strong. And then when the pandemic hits, and then we stimulate the economy, you saw a pretty significant shift of consumer dollars that would have been spent on maybe leisure or travel shift to goods. Mm-hmm. And because capacity was already constrained, and now you saw this demand ramp up, we overwhelmed the supply chain. We couldn't catch up. Mm-hmm. And when stores started opening back up, because I know for a period of time was kind of scary. You had stores shutting down, and we saw volumes fall off dramatically, and a lot of truckers left the industry because of that. And then it came back on in probably June and July. We've been extremely tight ever since. It's tighter than we've ever seen it. And we always think of like fourth quarter as the period of time where demand outpaces supply, right, and you have acute tightness. We've been in fourth quarter really since the third quarter of 2020, right? And it's just continued on. It's probably gotten tighter every quarter since. And so it's gonna take probably a long time to dig out of this, longer than these cycles typically occur, because one of the challenges is demand remains strong, but capacity can't come into the space. Typically when spot rates are as high as they are, customers are willing to pay more to get capacity. You see a lot of small truckers add trucks, right? Or even large truckers try to add trucks. Yep. The issue is you don't have labor. You can't find labor in every you can't think of an industry out there that doesn't have a challenge in labor right now.
Right. Everyone's hiring.
Yeah. Big and hey, our space has always had a challenge with hiring drivers, and it's even worse than it's ever been. But then you also think about equipment. Our OEMs can't build trucks. There's 50 microchips in every truck, and they can't find them. And so every day we've talked to some of the leaders of these OEMs, and it's like they got teams of people working with brokers every day to figure out how many chips they can buy. We've never been in a position where we're saying we want to order this many trucks, and they say, sorry, this is the only amount we can build for you. So that's led to a lot of companies keeping trucks longer, which means they're not selling them in the used equipment market, which is where a lot of small carriers, that's where they grow, is by buying used trucks, because they're a lot less expensive than new trucks. And today because there's no supply of used trucks, the prices of what is available are extremely high. I mean, there are used trucks that are 4-year-old trucks with 450,000 miles on them that are selling for what they cost brand new.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of small guys that can't cover that. So there's this supply challenge of coming into the space to help offset where demand is. And even on the trailer front, you have trailer manufacturers that can't build trailers, right? They can't get raw materials. There's not microchips on it, but there's raw materials, there's tires, there's wiring harnesses. There's the issue can be new every day of what holds that up. And so that's been one of the reasons why this, call it cycle, because we always deal with cycles, is going to be elongated. And really, I think 2022 is kind of baked as that's going to be, we'll see strength really throughout. And then we'll see what happens in 2023. That could be where you start to see the market come back in balance. And for us, we're trying to invest in capacity, but we're doing it in maybe different ways than we have in the past, where before it's like you try to grow trucks, and that's been a real issue because, again, everything I noted about buying new trucks and labor, which is the biggest issue. But we're leveraging our trailer fleet more than we ever have, and that's why we're seeing significant growth in logistics. Where most logistics companies out there, the brokers, saw volumes up mid-single digits year over year, 4 or 5%, while our volumes were up 60%. because we're approaching it differently. We're bringing more value to the supply chain because of the drop and hook nature of what we can provide with our trailers. And then we're going to grow with intermodal as well with investing in containers. And so, we're built for these type of markets. I think we're a very nimble business, although we may be very large. We have very unique brands that remain very nimble, and our departments read the market data. We adjust our strategy. We're always trying to anticipate what's coming down the road over the next 6 to 12 months. And we've got a lot of experience in that. And I think we'll position ourselves to do a great job for our customers, provide capacity where we can, but also, generate good margins and returns for our shareholders.
What do you think about the ports and the problems we have right now with all of the containers and ships out there? I know that a lot of people see the news. They see the aerial views of hundreds of ships outside every port. It seems like across the western and eastern seaboard. How do we even begin to...
There's no silver bullet there. Yeah. I mean, that's a real issue. It's a real issue. And again, I mean, demand has just outpaced what we can do from a supply standpoint. And so, we've partnered with some of our customers who've done some very innovative things of building some container yards right near the port so they can get containers in and out very quickly. It's just going to take time to work through the log jam that's there right now. And it's, quite honestly, hasn't gotten any better. I mean, there's still a ton of ships out there, and then they push some of them out even further out to sea. But hey, we're gonna work through with our port team, with our night team, Swift team. They all work hand in hand to try to find solutions for our customers to do what we can to deliver goods, especially for the holidays. And we've made some good progress there, but there's still a lot of backlog that'll need to be worked through. And then I think even for our customers, having inventory on hand will be critical. Now, some of the large shippers have made a lot of progress there, but sometimes it's you have inventory, you may not have the right inventory. Some of our customers today are just getting their Halloween stuff. So you might see some Halloween costumes on sale here soon. So
Christmas in July could be an actual thing.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, we're trying to partner with all of our customers to do the best we can to get through it. But again, there's no silver bullet.
Cool.
Thank you for watching that clip. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more clips like that, please click here.
Or if you'd like to check out a full episode, click here.
And don't forget to subscribe to us on
YouTube.